Good afternoon, guys and girls. How are you all doing today? Hope you're well. So here I am again, out to do another vlog at one of my favourite places to be, just in southeastern Ynysmôn, Anglesey, with Penmorn Point, just over that way. Apologise if there's any wind noise, guys. Again, I am just filming on my phone, and I've just tried to use the natural environment to prevent wind noise. Okay, so I've done a few test runs. It seems to be working all right. Anyway, as you can see, bit of a spooky day here in northwest Wales with the weather. It's extremely humid. There's a westerly at the moment, and there are storms coming in. I've had a couple of rumbles since I've been sat here filming this, or practicing filming this. So it might not be long before I actually have to move, but hopefully the video won't be that long. So anyway, so you can see the North Wales coast behind me there, across the Menai Strait. Yeah, so what I'm going to talk about in today's vlog. Okay, well, for me today it's going to be injury. So, as runners, we all know how bad it is to be injured, and how that we do not like being told or not being able to do the thing we love the most, which for us keen runners is running. So whether you're a short distance runner or a long distance runner, ultramarathon runner like myself, that kind of thing, it affects us all in some way. So the kind of running I do is usually mountain running. So here in northwest Wales, in Snowdonia, it's perfect for mountain running, and I've spent a lot of time in those mountains. I'm very, very familiar with them, in all weathers, in all conditions. It's a place I love being, and a place I can never get enough of. But sadly, towards the end of February this year, I was at the climbing wall, and on an auto belay I was descending, and as I descended on the auto belay, my right foot smacked really hard into a hold, and I couldn't say which way it went, whether it was inversion or eversion, in or out, and I couldn't stand on it from then on, basically. So luckily my friends were there, and they bandaged my foot up whilst I laid on the floor in the climbing wall with my foot up, elevated onto one of the benches in there. So to cut a long story short then, I pretty much sprained it quite badly. If there's a fly on the lens, guys, I apologise. It's just one flitting around in front. But later on, after doing some more research, I think I may have also potentially fractured my fifth metatarsal head, which is on the lateral midfoot. So in other words, on the outside edge of your foot, somewhere in the middle. Yeah, because I get that had that very bruised feeling, couldn't put pressure on that side either. And even now, if I sort of just touch it, palpate on it a little bit, you get that little bit of a bruised feeling. So that's still not fully healed, I don't think. However, I can still get out and do things as long as it doesn't involve running. The discomfort I get now basically is more like an impingement pain, which is right beneath the ankle knuckle, if you like, without using the technical terms. Okay, just keep it simple. So I get a bit of impingement, so when the foot does that, yeah, I can feel that pinch. It's not painful, I'm just aware that it's there. So it's not healed yet. So for me, running running for 2020 is pretty much a write-off, I would say. However, I'm very fortunate because I'm a road cyclist, so it has allowed me to get on the road and ride my bike and my mountain bike as well, and I'm doing a lot of that lately. So luckily I can keep my sanity doing that, and I'm still able to go walking, which is also nice. Some people, if you're injured with feet, ankles, whatever, you know, if you torn a hamstring, pulled a hamstring, you've got Achilles pulls, you've got plantar fasciitis, which again is pretty uncomfortable, pretty horrible to have and hard to get rid of. Or you might have sciatica. You know, there's all sorts of of comorbid factors involved with those injuries, especially sciatic. I mean, obviously I'm no expert. This is just from my own personal experience. Bit of gurgling there. I am sat on the seashore where the tide is normally well in, by the way. It is obviously out right now, but it's creeping its way in slowly. So yeah, injuries are not good, are they? They stop us doing what we want to do. And if you're anything like me, all you want to do is run. You expect to be able to keep running and running and running until your body breaks. I think the sad thing is that I injured this outside of running. That's what makes it more frustrating. If I'd have not gone to the climbing wall that day, it wouldn't have happened. But hey ho, that's the way it is. You know, so you just want to keep running, don't you? You're not very good at not running. You become very restless. And if running is your only sport, it's much more difficult. You know, because you can't, if you don't do the cycling, you don't do hill walking or anything like that, running is your only thing, isn't it? Sometimes. And to a point it was the only thing I wanted to do. So I lost motivation a long time ago for getting out road cycling, but now I've got back on my road bike, I'm absolutely loving it all over again. And I've done some pretty epic rides since I've had a busted ankle, you know. So there are benefits to being injured if you do other sports, you know. You can focus on those whilst you heal. However, if, as I've said, you have one of those injuries that actually prevents you from doing much else, so let's say if you had a hamstring tear, whether it's a grade 1 or a grade 3, obviously if it's a grade 3, if you don't know what that means, guys, basically tears are graded from 1 to 3, so obviously a 1 tear is fairly minor and you'll heal fairly quickly. However, grade 3 is a pretty serious full tear, and that will take a lot of rehab to sort you out, and probably a lot of physio to get that fixed, in inverted commas. You know, if you've got something like that, then there's not a lot you can do, you know, because you're always going to have that pain in your hamstring, aren't you? Same with Achilles pulls. That's another major thing. You know, if you ever have pulled your Achilles, guys, you'll know from experience that it's not a good injury to have. Because it prevents you from doing anything. Even walking is difficult. Now, the other thing, that the other mistake I made was that I didn't go and see anybody when I injured it, simply because, again, from experience, I didn't feel as though I needed to, because I thought, I've sprained it, it's fine, I know what I need to do, I just need to rest, take my weight off it as much as I can, ice it, you know, as much as I can, just through the acute stage until the swelling goes down, and then just carry on. You know, so I was hobbling around with my walking poles, my trekking poles, most of the time. I didn't have it cast or anything like that. I had it strapped up for a bit, but I didn't properly have it seen to, you know. So don't make the mistake I did and not get your injury looked at, guys. If you are injured, go and have it seen to, go and have it looked at. Yeah. Don't just carry on like everything's okay, because it isn't. You know, that's the sort of thing a lot of us do, isn't it? You know, you just think, we'll be all right, it's fine, don't worry, just crack on, you know, which is what you do, because that's life. I guess you don't go to the doctors because you don't want to be told that you can't do a certain thing, or they might say you have to take time off work, which for some of us isn't an option. So I'm a freelance outdoor instructor, so taking time off work for me isn't an option, because if I don't work, I don't get paid. Simple as that. And I don't get sick pay or anything like that, or holiday pay. So yeah, that's another reason why I didn't go. But ironically, obviously a month later, we're here in a lockdown situation, so I'm not at work anyway. But less said about that one, the better today. So yeah, it's just one of those things, guys, isn't it? How do you cope with your injuries? What do you do instead? What are the things do you enjoy? What keeps you motivated to get back to running? Do you look ahead, you know, and do you make plans for the future? Do you learn from it and, you know, do prehab, so lots of strengthening, that kind of stuff? And again, that's something I'm not very good at, is the prehab and strengthening. In fact, I'm frankly rubbish at it. I just keep going till my body breaks, and I'm not getting any younger. I'm 44 years old. Things break easier these days. But for me now, at the moment, I'm not focusing on the running. I'm actually focusing more on the cycling side of things. So I'm getting well into the cycling again, and I'm actually looking at starting bike packing as well. Maybe I'll do another video on that in the future once I start doing it. But that's keeping me quite excited. So for example, I've got a plan to cycle the North Coast 500 route, which is basically a 520 odd mile ride around northern Scotland, starting in Inverness and finishing in Inverness. So again, another post for another day, just so I try and stay on point here. But yeah, that's it really, guys. We're just injury sucks, doesn't it, to use an American term, not one I use very often. What's this weather doing? Not doing much at the moment. It's just moving very, very slowly. So allowing that warm air to rise and create those storms. Anyway, there it is, guys. That's my current injury. Thanks for that. Hope that didn't stop the video. Let me know if you have any comments, you want to write anything down there. Again, I'm no expert, but experience. I've been running for over 20 years. Now I can always give a few tips and point you in the right direction if you need it. So anyway, so thanks for watching today, guys. I'll try and keep these coming if I can, but I've just got to get that. I'd rather film them outside in the natural environment because that's me. But I just need to get some wind muffling equipment, hopefully. We'll see if we can get that sorted soon, eh? Because it's now more frustrating than recording a video and then it's just covered in wind noise and then you can't use it. Anyway, I'm going to go now, guys. So thanks again. Look after yourselves. I'll see you next time. Ta-ra for now.